The hell is going on with this thing? Okay, Agdabra den, Vrijdag and Purim, excuse me, Vrijdag and Shushan Purim, as we continue our march through Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. All right, so today we are doing 6 through 10. It's the end of the laws of Purim. Here we go. Since the entire miracle of Purim was brought about through wine, Vashti, the wife of King Achashverosh, she was banished during a feast with wine, leading to Esther becoming her replacement. And likewise, the affair of Haman and his downfall was brought about through a wine. So therefore, our sages of blessed memory obligated us, I guess, for knowledge next year, to become intoxicated with wine on Purim. So it's wine, it's not other drinks specifically. So it's not whiskey or vodka, it's through wine. That's what you have to drink on Purim. As it says in Megillah, one is obligated to inash lepsume bepuria. You're obligated to become drunk from wine on Purim, so that you don't know the difference between cursed is Haman and blessed is Mordechai. Interesting. Look at footnote 20. On Purim, one thanks Hashem for Haman's downfall, referred to as cursed is Haman, as well as for the rise of Mordechai, referred to as blessed is Mordechai. The meaning of this halacha is that one should continue thanking Hashem for these great events until the point that he's so intoxicated that he can no longer differentiate between them. Okay. Even someone who doesn't drink to that point should at least drink a little bit more than they are usually accustomed to in order to remember the great miracle and then go to sleep. And interestingly enough, when you're asleep, you can't tell the difference between anything. So you're actually able to fulfill that injunction through sleeping. However, one who is weak in nature and somebody who knows about himself, that if he drinks, he's going to not be able to daven Ma'ariv or bench or do anything. And it's always going to lead to frivolity. Kalas rosh, literally lightness of your head. Then it's better not to get drunk. And that's what he says. The general rule is all one's actions should be for the sake of heaven. One's decision to become intoxicated should be based on an evaluation of whether such action will result in greater service of Hashem. Okay, number 7. What about a mourner, God forbid? So if a mourner is sitting shiva, so he's in the 7 days following the burial, he is also obligated to send matanos l'avyonim and shalach manos. Nevertheless, he should not send an item associated with joyfulness, so not delicacies. And somebody should not send mashlach manos to them during their entire year of mourning for a parent, even an item not associated with joyfulness. However, if the mourner is a poor person, then you are allowed to send money for matanos l'avyonim to them, or any item, as long as it's not associated with joy. If there's no one but the mourner, another person in the area, so you have to give 2 people, right? Matanos l'avyonim, etc. That person is obligated to send mashlach manos to the mourner, so there's to fulfill the mitzvah of mashlach manos. Number 8, one should not work on Purim. Obviously, it doesn't mean work like on Shabbos or Yom Tov. It means business. Indeed, one who does perform work on Purim will never see a siman bracha from that. Nothing good will come from that work that they do on Purim, so you might as well not bother. It says the same, similar loshon when it comes to Tisha B'Av. I mean, technically you're allowed to work on Tisha B'Av, but if any work that you do on Tisha B'Av, you will not see any benefit from it. So, no point. It is permitted to have work done by a non-Jew, and one may engage in business. What does that mean? It says here, 25, explains that engaging in business can be a source of enjoyment for a person and is therefore not prohibited. I don't know. He says that it is permitted to engage in any work to prevent a loss, so repairing a leaking roof, or if you need the wages to buy food. So if you're indigent, then you can work on Purim. Likewise, it is permitted to write letters or records of loans and anything else that does not require intense attention. 26, you should not do so. You should not become so involved in these matters that it diminishes your participation in the Purim festivities. Certainly, it is permitted to write something for a mitzvah or to do any other work for a mitzvah. Likewise, for the purpose of a Purim need, you may perform even complete malachas, normally activities that are forbidden on Yom Tov. Number 9, what about today? The laws of the 15th of Adar. So, we refer to the 15th of Adar as Shushan Purim. Like we didn't say Tachnun today. We didn't say Psalm 20 until after davening. Eulogies, fasting are prohibited today. We do engage in some level of feasting and rejoicing. Obviously, we do not say Al Hanissim. We don't read the Megillah as well today, unless you live in Jerusalem, because it's Purim there. It is permitted to make weddings on this day, because we don't say the Megillah. So implied is that people do not get married on Purim itself. However, on the day that the Megillah is read, since that is the time of the primary rejoicing of the Purim miracle, we don't make weddings. Why not? Why don't we make weddings on Purim Day? Because we don't want to mix one joyous occasion with another. Because if you focus, like it says here, basically, if you have a wedding on Purim, then you're not going to, by definition, detract from the celebration of Purim. You're going to concentrate on the wedding. So, but today weddings are allowed outside of Jerusalem or any other walled city from the times of Joshua's conquest of Israel. And finally for today, during a leap year, when we have 2 Adars, we celebrate Purim in the 2nd Adar. However, the 14th and 15th of the 1st Adar are known as Purim Katan, minor Purim, and they do have some significance. So on the 14th, and next year will be God willing, will be a leap year. On the 14th and 15th days of the 1st Adar, we also don't say Tachnun. And as in addition, eulogies and fasts are prohibited on these days. On the 14th of the 1st Adar, we have a somewhat larger meal than usual. Have a good afternoon. A Freilichen Shushan Purim. I'm traveling next few days, so I will be, we'll do it probably by recording, and I will let everybody know. Sei gesund and stark, kol tov sela. Bye-bye.